So the executive education program at KCOE consists of multiple days of training, deep trainings with KCOE coaches. And the difference between what we might do in a deep learning forum, for example, versus executive education has to do with what are we pointing at, what are we actually trying to achieve as our education objective. So the executive education component really looks not only just at the components and the principles of the operational excellence system, but more so the connections between those components. And the outcome then is a group of people who have learned from each other and have learned from us as the coach, maybe how to deeply coach the system. And that's one of the primary benefits that comes out of the executive education program. So the difference between the executive education program and our standard Phase 1 Level A training is that the executive education program also goes much more broad. And what we try to do is expose the student to other systems that are out there. The first thing we do is deconflict the different systems for continuous improvement that are out there, and then we contrast those with the operational excellence system. So that becomes the first thing that we learn. We also look at other thought leaders about the Toyota production system, the Toyota Way, authors like Jeffrey Liker, Mike Hoseas. We look at external sources and we read those things together. As we come back together in the executive education program, we discuss what those thought leaders are actually saying about operational excellence as well. So it's a great way to incorporate what others are thinking and saying about operational excellence. So the target audience for the executive education program would be senior leaders, top-level leaders, executive leaders, and those who are tasked, leaders in the organization who are tasked with implementing the operational excellence system. This gives you a lot deeper background about the operational excellence system and equips you to be a great teacher coach in our system, because you begin to understand the connections between the different components and principles. In the executive education program, the student can expect to learn this contrast between different continuous improvement systems. And then about the KCOE system, the student can expect to learn things like the balanced scorecard, the annual planning cycle, problem solving, daily meeting, monthly meeting, and how those things fit together. Why do each one of those things represent a plan, do, check, act cycle, visual management, roles and responsibilities. So really learning deeply how the different components fit together into the system. We move on then from those basic components into the continuous improvement program part of the OE system. And there we'll look at how suggestions progress from individual suggestions to team suggestions to QC circles and beyond. Finally, we'll look at problem solving a little bit more deeply. We know a little bit about problem solving because we've been exposed to the Level A system, but now we're looking more deeply at problem solving, and in particular how to move through a problem solving sheet, how to manage problem solving sheets on a problem solving board, and again, how does the problem solving piece connect to the other things that we talked about, the basic framework and structure of daily meeting, monthly meeting, and balanced scorecard. How does it connect to suggestion system, and how do those pieces converge over time? So it's a great way to understand, like I said before, the connections between the different components of the system. So you can access the executive education program here at KCOE in 3 or 4 different ways. Here at the college, you can come out here and we would conduct the executive education program over a 5-day period, full 5-day period, so 8 hours each day for 5 days, Monday through Friday. At your location, we might be able to spread the executive education out in 2 ways. We come out for 2 hours over a 15-week period, or we can conduct 2 3-day sessions, 3 days during 1 week and then 3 days during a follow-up week at your location. And then finally, we'd like to offer a new distance learning option where we could do 2 hours over a 15-week period via video. And so that we would come into your location via video, and it would be a bilateral back and forth dialogue there. So any of those options would work for you to access the executive education program. We hope that you would pick us up on any of them.